sports media is giving you a hint that this league is rigged. Watch these clowns.
Back in, not running up the field, past the guy, because that just creates a bigger lane. But creating a big thing, you don't get any credit for this, but that's just doing your job.
How strong Sonali? Honestly, they talk about how strong he is. That dude is driving people back on a 4th and 1.
Yeah, penetration, literally, or just moving the line of scrimmage is obviously something that Stubbs installs the run game. Biggest play in the game right there. Defense, did they win the game? No, the refs won the game. The refs, not this. Not this. The refs won.
Yeah, it was the refs, man. These guys are so full of crap, and most of you sheep listen to these clowns.
The Chiefs is still the Chiefs. No, the big-time win in a close game against the Atlanta Falcons. And, boy, the internet is a buzz, con man.
Yeah, Chiefs are still the Chiefs because these gosh darn refs are wearing KC jerseys, basically. Yeah.
No.
Great. I mean, I'm a Patriots fan, so it's a little interesting coming from me because I got to live with that for 20 years. But the refs aren't on our side anymore. Damn it, they're on the Chiefs side, and I hate it. And granted, after that no PI call, the next drive and here's the no PI call, clearly PI, Darius Butler had a tweet right after, like, hey, let's just make sure we're clear here. This is obviously pass interference, without a doubt.
Just like it was last week.
But once again, when the Chiefs are wearing, red stripes instead of black ones for the KC team, this is what's going to happen. Now, right after this, the Falcons would get the ball back.
Corrupt officiating has been one of the most talked about topics when it comes to the modern NFL. Many have been commenting and reporting that the NFL is a sports entertainment organization and, like the WWE, can legally predetermine or fix a game outcome in their favor. Being a longtime sports bettor myself, I was always curious whether this was true or not. It sounds plausible, but with the amount of money involved in sports gambling, I just can't believe the US government would let them outright cheat people out of money. I mean, people are literally betting millions of dollars on random regular season games or prop bets. So that could get out of hand real quick if people were privy to specific information that could sway a game in a certain direction. Honestly, I think that is exactly what is happening, similar to the Tim Donaghy NBA scandal and how the NBA backstabbed the FBI into conducting a thorough investigation into league-wide corruption. But for it to be happening legally is completely different. I personally believe, after everything we have seen this season and how many active refs with history of cheating, that the refs are on the take. But they couldn't just openly admit that and face no legal consequences, could they? Let's get into it. After extensive research, the law currently does not view the NFL as a single entity. What does this mean? In a 2010 Supreme Court case, in a unanimous decision, the court held that the NFL teams are distinct economic actors with separate economic interests that are capable of conspiring under the Sherman Act. With this precedent, central control of the outcomes of NFL games would be a Sherman antitrust violation. So that means it's all good, right? Lawyers and Dave Portnoy's dad, get out your yellow legal pads because I got some sketchy plays that would make a great class action lawsuit. Oh wait, there is more to this debate. Many people don't know, but the NFL actually has an antitrust exemption signed by John F. Kennedy. You heard that right, an antitrust exemption. I think this is where the confusion comes to play. After lobbying efforts of former NFL Commissioner Pete Rozelle, the Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961 was created that allows different sports leagues to sign broadcast contracts as a collective, an exemption of the antitrust law. This is why the NFL doesn't have any games on Fridays and most Saturdays during the regular season, as it's allowed to work with other leagues so they don't conflict with one another. While an antitrust exemption sounds like it could lead to collusion and rigged outcomes, Section 4 of the Act specifically states that the bill does not change the applicability of federal antitrust laws and would make fixing the outcome of games outside of scheduling an antitrust violation. On top of this, the NFL has its own constitution that prevents game fixing. Article 8.13c gives the Commissioner 9 forms of disciplinary power to levy against those employed or connected to the NFL if they were found to have fixed games. If the NFL were to be found to be breaking its own constitution, it could receive lawsuits from the Private Association Law along with the Sports Bribery Act of 1964. This is also another reason why leagues like the NBA and NFL look down on teams tanking for better draft positions at the end of the season. Tanking would qualify as game fixing under these acts, as you are intentionally manipulating the outcome of games that sports bettors may not be privy to. However, if there is evidence of game fixing, who would be responsible for cracking down on that? You guessed it, good old Honorable Roger Goodell, a man whose salary has many goal incentives and is tied to making the games as entertaining and profitable as possible. Why would a man whose job and salary total is tied to having the most exciting games possible acknowledge an issue with game integrity? Similar to when David Stern allegedly sabotaged the FBI when they were doing an investigation on NBA corruption. He potentially leaked the story to the press before the FBI could do a thorough investigation, giving a heads up to refs around the league that the FBI was digging into them. The NFL does have a disciplinary officer who can give suggestions to employee infractions, but ultimately Roger Goodell makes the final decision. An absolute authority figure whose salary is tied to the success of the league like that could never be corrupted, right? Let's play this out. If Roger Goodell found out a ref was on the take, he would be incentivized to bury the story and do nothing about it, similar to what we saw with the Lions-Cowboys officiating controversy or the Patriots Spygate scandal. I mean, it doesn't even have to be that bad of a call. It can just be a holding call in the last drive of a close game, which is shown to bring down an offense's chance of success dramatically. Just with one single holding call. A holding call, just like many other penalties in the NFL rulebook, are very vague and ambiguous and leaves tons of room for plausible deniability. Rules that often vary, whether getting called based on game context, regular season versus postseason, player position, and more. In this situation, it would actually be very easy to point a game in a certain direction while maintaining plausible deniability. I mean, there's got to be a reason why the NFL refuses to use more technology in officiating in an unprecedented era of quality AI technology and tracking. I mean, their ability to track all of us, it seems pretty easy. Why can't you do that with a football? And why did head ref Dean Blandino say the refs actually need less technology in NFL games, contrary to popular belief? Remember, this is a league that gives coaches only 2 challenge flags, dictates when they can use them, on what calls, and fines them for ever questioning officiating. While fixing games is still not officially legal for the NFL despite being classified as entertainment, I think it's safe to believe that a commissioner with absolute power, incentivized contracts, gag orders against officials, vague and ambiguous rules that you could virtually call whenever you want, a mountain of plausible deniability, and billions of dollars easily available through sports betting, that there is a strong chance of possible corruption going on in the NFL. However, let us know what you think. Is the NFL rigged? Can the NFL legally rig games? Comment below and remember to subscribe so collectively we can hold the NFL accountable from greedy execs and the Vegas mob.